Hello YouTubers, this is YouTube Ground. I'm playing another game, a little bit different. I'm playing a longs play for a person who recently made a game on the gaming site I've started playing. It's called Strange Times. It's a Pokemon fan-made game. I recorded this already, but unfortunately I recorded it without the audio from my microphone, so we're going to try that again. Um, but the guy's name that made this game is called indieoutloud. The backstory kind of to this game so far is that you are new to a town. Your name, as you get to decide, is whatever, and you start off your adventure not as a person that needs to save the world, but a person who is just living an ordinary life. You have a wife. You have a few Pokemon to help around the house. Actually, when I say few, I think there's one. Um, but you start off your life, and your job is to be a parcel delivery person. So we're gonna play through probably about 15 to 20 minutes of this game, and I'm gonna let the publisher of this game know, so that way he can um, know that I put it up. I'm just doing it to get awareness about his game and to get people excited about it, because he's so far from what I played made a really good game. I'm sure. There's a few things in this game that are really interesting that have intrigued me so far. You get a lot of choices in the game that determine your life. Like I said, you're just a normal guy, have a Growlithe for a pet, and your wife has a Chansey, and I was already mistaken. She's telling me I'm ready for my first day, and she wants to set up her own stall, which comes into play later in the game. When I say later, I mean 5 minutes from now. But I guess this is your buddy. Um, he pretty much tells us that we can't be late, and we need to go to the NLR. And I wonder what that stands for. I'm gonna go with no late return. Um, Parcel service. So we gotta get there. Now, game seems. I've never actually been this way. It's this way. That's right, there's no sign. There's an item there. I didn't see that before. That's new. We're breaking new grounds. Oh, look, leftovers. Um, this game does a really interesting job with. Um, yeah. I'm trying to think. So this is the stall. Because I've seen it in the demos. This is the stall you buy it for your wife. And we'll do that. Whoa. And this is in beta still, so I'm technically doing a long play slash beta test of this game. But again, the publisher said that he wanted me to do this, and I'm going ahead of myself. Um, so I'm going to do kind of a let's play esque. I like this guy a lot because he's just a brute. I said that in the last recording I did, even though it didn't record. But essentially, he says that essentially the mayor's wife is sick, and we need to take a parcel to them, and the planes broke down. And the planes plays a part in this game as well. This game has a lot to it. There are so many things you can do. You're never really bored. You don't have to go off and raise your Pokemon. You have, from what I've read in the description, anybody can read this, and I'll link it in when I'm done in the actual description to the game. But there's so many different things you can do in this game because you have not only the fact of Team Strange, and that's the name of the people you're going against. You have them to go against so far, but you have choices to make, and the choices affect how your character grows in the game and how he's viewed. Essentially, you can, and again, this is all based on information I've read on the thing, so I'm not ruining anything. You can either become a gym leader or you can become the leader of Team Strange, depending on the decisions you make. But yeah, the mayor says that essentially that Dr. Frank has been starting to act weird, and he wants us to take an audio recorder to spy on Dr. Frank. So he gives us lab pass to get to where Dr. Frank is, and then he gives us an audio recorder. So we're gonna go check that out. I think the frame rates are gonna be a little bit low because that's what my recording equipment's saying. But if it's a little bit low, I'll look into correcting it. I know how to correct it. And this guy I met last time, and he's telling me the same thing, pretty much that he's been acting erratically. But weird sounds coming from the lab and an orb. He tells me the history museum, and I just clicked on him again and again. Get away. Um, Up here. And they've talked to any other guys, they tell you to talk to Guard Gary. Which I think is funny that they've added a Guard Gary because I think it's a little bit of an Easter egg because Gary's the name of pretty much your first nemesis in the first couple Pokemons. So the lab is like this. You walk in here, and here's Dr. Frank, and he's talking about the Ursings and wanting to make them stronger and more obedient. The Ursings that they play on New Little Root, essentially, when they, and the mayor will tell you this, is that the when they first came, the people of New Little Root were actually going to starve, and essentially, if they didn't get any food, they would have died. Um, and the Ursings actually went out and picked berries for the people of New Little Root, and that's what made the city flourish. Now, with Dr. I was reading that. Sorry. Um, Now they're trying to take the Ursings and essentially make them, I guess, estranged, if that's the right word. Um, there's a few things that I've already got to add to the developer, and this is one of them. That the guys in this thing have their faces and they're blank. Now, that was a decision there. There's a quo or Q, I think is what I forget what the actual term was, and then there's a that you say you're a delivery guy. So you play off if you choose the first option that you're just delivering the lab pass, and then you get left from the thing, and you have to go back to the mayor and actually tell him what you found out about Professor or Doctor. Sorry, I always say Professor because it's the name of a lot of these scientists in this game is their professors, but not this one. He's a doctor. So you have to go tell the mayor about Dr. Frank. Um, I think that's going to be. I think a lot of these are either meant to be or they're very similar to um, real life evil because Dr. Frank is Dr. Frankenstein and he's altering things. So I don't know if that's like another Easter egg or whatever, but that's just kind of things I noticed. Um, but we will. They have an Ursing house because essentially the Ursings. There's nothing in there. I went in there the last couple of games and there's nothing in there from what I can tell right now. There probably will be something in there eventually. Now, the mayor's telling me to go to Venture Town, which is to the east of this town, in order to actually, because the gym leader is an expert in poison, to help his wife. Um, and that's a big key because that'll come up later, and we'll get to that point. Um, and then this is where it controls it for you to take you upstairs to make your decision. Um, Disturbing news about Dr. Frank. Um, he apparently cured diseases and made a life for better people. Now, I already know this choice and what choices are going to happen or what things are going to happen with your Pokemon team here in the next like few minutes. But I'm still going to choose the same Pokemon I've been playing, which is Charmander, because I've always been a big fan of Charmander. Um, he pretty much tells us um, he says our roads will cross maybe later, but now we get to choose Pokemon. And like I said, I'll choose Charmander because that's what I've been choosing and what I've been playing with, and I don't want the game to be altered, and I keep doing that, and you just gotta press escape. And now that you have your Pokemon you can manage. The one thing that the developer of this game has actually done really well, stay on the table, um, is you can actually press X and it loads up your phone, but your phone looks like a Pokedex, but this is where you get to do everything in the game. I actually like it. What's this? I actually haven't done this. Way to not infringe on Apple's rights because Apple would be all over you if they did that, Mr. Developer. Um, Now, this is a choice in the game, and again, most people are going to go good or bad. They're not going to kind of mix, but essentially, that's a spot available. There's a nursing down there. Essentially, when you notice that spot's available, you have to go to the mayor's office to register to get it. Now, the reason that's important is because your wife, in the beginning of the game, when we talked to her, she wants to set up a stall for Chansey eggs. So this is a good thing to have because if you don't pay attention to your wife, she will leave you. So I've kind of decided to go the good route because I like the idea of becoming my own gym leader. But we'll see. And the other thing that we have to do is now we go back to the parcel Thursday, and I decided to go back here when I first started playing because I was thinking, hey, maybe he has another assignment for me, and maybe I gotta keep up with my job, otherwise I lose my job. And he's pretty much told me that I need to do what the mayor says, and then once I'm done with what the mayor says, I can come back and pick up my job. Now, the thing is, you get running shoes. That's the big part of it. That's why I keep going back there. But now we get to see the game from like start to finish. Now we get to tell her, hey, we got to stall for you, and she'll take her and Chansey and leave. Now this is a bug because if you talk to her again, she'll walk to the left into that tree, and the game will freeze. So I'm gonna leave, and I've got to report that bug later on today. And that was my PlayStation falling. So don't worry, be worried about that sound if you guys heard it. So now she's here. Her Chansey's not here, which is weird because it's supposed to be here. You can buy Chansey eggs. She's already given you some, if I'm not mistaken. And so we go. We'll quit. Press it once. Okay. So we'll start leaving town because we gotta go east, like the guy said. The thing to right to the north of us is a thing. Now this is interesting, and this is why I said I wasn't gonna. I already knew what was gonna happen, and it could have helped me if I would have chosen right. But essentially, she tells me to go back because she's left something on the table for me, and she's also saying that I should take Growlithe, the pet that you first see in the very first part of the game. He actually becomes a usable Pokemon, and I found that very interesting. I've always seen Pokemon. Well, that's a super bug. Um, and so you get super potions, and you get Pokeballs, and so that's good. Now you get to go up here, and you get to talk to Mr. Growlithe. And he asks if you would like to take him with him, and you say yes. And so now you have Growlithe, and you have, in this case for me, it's Charmander. And that's why I said I was gonna. I thought about when I first was remaking these videos, because I had to remake it now, this is the third time, um, if I was going to choose Squirtle or, yeah, Squirtle, because if I chose Squirtle, then my rival would have chose Bulbasaur, and I would have had Growlithe to counter that. Um, and I decided not to. I decided to not cheat the game, to make it more difficult. Now I have two fire Pokemon, and I'm sorry, but I'm kind of a big sucker for sensitive things, and so the fact that Growlithe was part of my Pokemon, was he was in my house, I'm not gonna get rid of him, and the fact that I chose Charmander, I'm not gonna get rid of him. I love the music in this game. The battle music seems very battle-ish to me, so I like it. I found this very interesting too, that the first trainer is essentially a double Pokemon trainer. So it's good that you have two Pokemon. Now, this is gonna be weird for me because my last save game, both my Pokemon are now up to essentially level um, about level 8 or 9, and so now I have to start back at level 5, and they only have bite and scratch. So I keep pressing down the Z. My finger hurts now because I was pressing down the Z. Like for some reason that was going to make me faster. I've noticed that in this game, for some reason, the Growlithe is a little bit offensively and yeah, a little bit offensively stronger. Charmander's more defensive. I don't know if the stats for Charmander were lowered or if it's always been that way. I never looked at his stats to begin with, and so I just found that interesting. Triumph with music of being awesome. I always notice in this game too that the very first bush you touch after you've been at one. Here's something that's interesting. There's 20 fake men or fake bonds, depending on how you pronounce it, in this game. This is one of them. He used Leer, and I think he, if I'm not mistaken, uses fake tears. I don't know if there's any advantage to having a fake mon. I don't want one because it just sounds like it's kind of a trolly kind of Pokemon. I'd rather have a little bit of a harder chance. I'd rather have almost, if you will, legitimate Pokemon. So I've decided that I'm not going to go into them unless there's a. Wow, that's a lot of. Oh my gosh. Um, that's a lot of experience. So now what I'm going to do, I do this all the time, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people out there do it too. Switch Pokemon, because now he's level 7. Now he's 2 levels ahead, and that's not fair. And so we're going to do that. There's another one. Another one. Another one. I like the Intimidate. 3 is Bite. Now, oh, he flinched. That's awesome. He is Lick. So he's got a Dark move, and he's dead. I don't know, I'm just going to stick with killing them because they give it a lot of experience. Um, and the trainer looks at me. Hey, who's that over there? Oh, he's in a battle. Don't worry about him. I'm gonna run away. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna roar. What am I doing? Oh, I should have ran away. Boink. Gambler Jeff. I thought it was also interesting that they have that some of these people that you first fight actually have like pretty good Pokemon. And when I mean pretty good, I mean like Boltoy is a pretty good one. Oops. This is the guy? No, this is not the guy. I should use Bite. That was my fault. But yeah, Growlithe is like stronger. Like Charmander would have been down to quarter health by now, even though he's level 7. I'm actually playing through this game a lot faster than I did the first 2 times. Oh, made it out. Double battle again. I like double battle. I like raising 2 Pokemon at the same time. It makes my life a lot easier. But I'm only gonna probably make this video probably about 20 minutes long, just to enable people to want to watch more and support the developer. Because, like I said in my last video, and I say that all the time. Like I said in my last video, I talked to the developer quite a bit, and he is a pretty cool guy. I mean, all he really wants to do is just be creative and make games for people because he likes seeing people play his games and give feedback, and I think that's a really cool thing to do. Um, so I'm gonna do a long play and make this probably into quite a few parts. And if people keep watching it and I get over, and I'm gonna say this right now, I'm not a big, huge YouTube hit like Red2 Praise and PewDiePie and all those other people that do it professionally almost. I'm not big like they are, so if I get over 10 views, I'll probably keep going, and I'm gonna let the developer know that too. Because if it's just gonna be, I would say, 1, 2 people watching it, I'm not gonna get into it. It's not gonna be something I can unfortunately spend the time doing and feel like I'm spending my time wisely. So I mean, I'm gonna see how this first one goes, and I've been told to let him know when I get this done, so that way he can start letting everybody go to it. And I'm hoping that with the community that this guy is, and I am part of, which is again gamejolt, that it'll allow me to get people to watch my videos. Almost like I scratch your back, you scratch mine kind of thing. Um, but we'll see. This game so far, though, even if it doesn't turn into a long play, I'm gonna still keep playing it. It's a very interesting, very different spin-off on a game. And I like the idea of choices in the game. It gives it, instead of being a linear path, it gives it a lot more of a, it gives it more of a I want to say tree. Let's just say tree, because it starts off with one path and it branches into a bunch of them. That's going to be my metaphor for today. No. I'm going to be unapologetic right now. If the game is cut off a little bit on the bottom, it's because the game size I made this game is actually bigger than my actual laptop's window. There's an item down there, and I know what it is. I kind of don't want to get it right now. But I am going to use uh, that. And I'm going to be honest. The first time I played this, I used every single one of them by now. Because I was trying to see what Pokemon were there. And so I used every single one of my super potions by now. I've and I said in my last video, and I keep saying that, and it kind of drives me a little bit crazy, but my last video I told the viewers, and I'm going to tell you guys again since you guys are the viewers now, that I'm not going to use my rare candy because I have a feeling, and I'm not sure, that there's going to be some sort of exchange on rare candies with something else. People talk about Mago evolves or whatnot. I used to play when I played Pokemon. I played Pokemon Blue and Yellow and Emerald. I haven't played too many other Pokemon since then, so a lot of these Pokemons are new to me. But um, I do know people talk about Mega Evolves or something along those lines, and so there's a change to it. And so I'm wondering if there's an exchange policy. And sometimes I ramble on, and you guys will figure that out. Sometimes I'll talk fast, which I've been doing this entire movie. And if people think I need to slow down, please let me know. I found this interesting what the developer did in the game, which was heal stations. They actually cost money to heal, but that tells me that there's going to be either a huge gap between Pokemon stations, Pokemon centers, or there's going to be very difficult fights where you're going to get out of them and you're going to be. And I'm pretty sure everybody's been to it, where they've been limping to the next town, and essentially they're trying to run away and essentially send out their strongest Pokemon to kill faint the Pokemons. Um, and so, I mean, I've been in that circumstance before, and I think it's an interesting thing because it's another way that you're gonna have to sit there and budget your money wisely. Because if you don't budget it, you're gonna sit there and spend all your money out in heal stations and get rid of it. Get rid of money. Sorry. This guy. This guy's interesting because I always found this very interesting in a lot of Pokemon games I've played recently, like Emerald. Um, People will have Pokemons that are super evolved even before they're supposed to be, and you'll see what I mean. Because I'll take down this guy, and now I get my experience, blah blah blah. And he's about to send out Linoon. Linoon is the evolution or evolved version of Zigzagoon, and so I found this very interesting. It's at level 3. And he's launched. That's his undoing. Apparently my Growlithe is faster than him. But he has Headbutt. He has Headbutt. That ridiculous. I'm like thrown off. I mean, these trainers apparently around the world and everything are apparently training their Pokemon so well that now I got to set up Primate. I'm gonna change up my Pokemon. Primate. He is leader. If it was my Growlithe would have gone first. So I've actually looked at the stats of Charmander compared to Growlithe, and okay, and Growlithe is actually a little bit stronger than Charmander, like offensive wise. I'm not sure if that changes come evolution, it's like that the entire time. That was crazy. What's up with Charmander? He's getting all this experience to the point where he's like leveling 2 times over from one battle, and Growlithe is not getting that. There's 127 Poké Dollars in there, and I'm not sure if I feel right going in there and taking it because I felt like when I took it the first time that essentially it's going to be like a theft thing. But I'm going to use this. I got 4,500, and that's like 600. And again, I think that's a really cool idea. I just kind of concerns, and I get really concerned because I'm worried. I'm a worrywart, but I'm concerned that that's going to be a huge deal. That's right. There's something up there. Yet. Now this is Stantler Lake. I thought this was an interesting idea because there's essentially Stantlers all over the place. And you have romantic getaways, so I'm thinking that there's going to be cabins eventually that you're going to be able to take your wife to if your relationship is hurting. I'll go in here because this guy has an egg. Don't know what the egg is, but I'm going to take it because it's going to be another Pokemon. I feel like you're almost in this game that there's not so much of a stress of you getting Pokemon on stress of you getting Pokemon through the grass, but there's a stress of you playing the actual RP of this game. And this guy talks about something in the tree, and I never really understood what that he was talking about, so we're not going to worry about it right now. Who's the guy? Oh, sweet, I got an old run. Too bad old rods, unless this game changes it, old rods only get Magikarps, and I don't like Magikarp. And even though he turns into Gyarados, I don't like the idea of training up a Magikarp for it. This guy's a Pokemon card trainer, and he gives me a Charizard training card, which I think is kind of goofy. Because does that mean that there's also Pokemon duels in here with cards? And if that's the case, that's pretty awesome. But either way, even if it's just a trading aspect of it, that's still pretty cool. Now, this is the first interesting ordeal of this entire game. I mean, the whole game has been interesting because it's been new, but this is interesting. So he talks about your grandfather being a great Pokemon master, but the weird thing is he gives you pretty much now a split decision. You're pretty much halfway through, if I'm not mistaken, you're halfway between going to Venture City and saving the mayor's wife, or going back and saving Dr. Rowan. And it's very interesting because I am a person that has big moral dilemmas, but I'm not really sure what I'm going to do. I'm torn because I mean, even though I've only been playing the game and I've been watching the time for about 30 minutes now, I'm very torn between which one I want to go with. Do I want to save Dr. Rowan, the guy that gave me Charmander, or do I want to go with the mayor, who's trying to save pretty much... I just used the wrong attack because I did this last time. I was getting talking and distracting myself. Do I want to save Dr. Rowan, the guy that, or help the mayor who's trying to save the world, or again, um, help Dr. Rowan, the guy that gave me Charmander? I've stumbled over my words there. Forgive me. Don't hold it against me, but essentially, it's a moral dilemma. I'm not a big person on moral dilemmas. I dislike them because I feel like if I choose one or the other, that I'm going to be choosing the wrong decision, and the game's gonna, like, for some reason that the game's gonna hate me. So it's a good thing to have in this game because it makes the game a lot more interesting. It doesn't make it a linear game like a lot of Pokemon games. It's not like you have one decision and essentially you're going to end up in the same place as everyone else that buys the game. And we're not buying the game here, but it's along the same aspects. I just feel like I'm gonna end on a different path than everybody else. And sorry for the pop-up. Very sorry for the pop-up. But so I've defeated him, but now I gotta make the choice. Do I want to go between saving Rowan on the left or saving the mayor's wife on the right? That's the big dilemma. But that's also a big dilemma that's probably gonna have to wait until the next Let's Let's Play or next part of the long play. Thank you again. This is YouTube Grounds. Again, I will be posting in the developers menu, essentially, or the developer, or in the comments, the developers homepage and the game's homepage. Definitely don't hesitate to go over and look at his game. He's very willing to answer any questions you have. Again, his name is indieoutloud. Um, but definitely um, support this game. Indie developers make a lot of great games, and this is definitely not one to bat an eyelash at. I use, again, another term, but I do thank you, and you guys all have a nice day. Bye.